90 on April the 29th. And that weekend, he's doing a massive show at the Hollywood Bowl. Let's say you want to get out of town for a bit. You get some tickets to see Willie Nelson and Friends' 90th birthday concert. Beck, Chris Stapleton, Bob Weir, Edie Brickell. Remember her?
Nope.
Edie Brickell and New Bohemians. They had one hit in the 80s. She married Paul Simon. Lyle Lovett, Leon Bridges, Casey Musgraves. Yummy. Neil Young. Nora Jones. The Avett Brothers. Snoop Dogg. Sheryl Crow. The Chicks, formerly Dixie Chicks. Tom Jones. Warren Haynes. Ziggy Marley. Many, many, many more. April 29th and 30th. People who want to get out of town and have some fun for Willie Nelson's 90th birthday. That's going to be a tough one when Willie Nelson goes. I was thinking about somebody else the other day. I was like, when this person goes, that's going to be a real bummer. I know, Winston Churchill. When he dies, boy, I will be
I got
crestfallen.
some news for you.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Alan Cox Show, exclusive news update.
Winston Churchill has unfortunately passed away.
What? When? The Winston Churchill?
I believe he has.
The guy that runs that thing on Westlake. That Winston Churchill? That's
What's
the one I'm thinking of.
What's the
I don't know.
I don't know what's the thing out there.
He runs a hockey rink out in that's the Winston Churchill I'm thinking of.
Oh, I don't know about that one. I thought you were talking about the one that everybody else knows.
Have you
I've
ever
never heard of him.
Yeah.
What, Cody?
Have you ever met anyone in your life that was born in the 1800s?
My grandmother.
She was born in the 1800s?
Well, no, I guess she was born in 1913.
I was going to say, because even my grandmother...
My great-grandma was 90, she was born in the 1800s.
And you knew her? You knew your great-grandmother?
I mean, I met her once.
Yeah, really?
I remember we went to, this is probably 95 or 96. We went to Arizona. We drove there.
Mm-hmm.
My whole family drove there.
That's a long drive,
It
boy.
was such a long
Oof.
drive. My dad was so done with that trip by the time we were on our
Time
way
he hit
back.
Oklahoma, he was done with it.
But we went and saw his grandma before she was in great shape, and she passed away a few months later. But I just remember her getting her ears cleaned out. Like, we get there, and that's what they were doing. They were just cleaning her ears out with one of those wax candles, and it was just pulling all the wax out of it. And I was just like, this is the only memory I'm going to have of this lady. It's just seeing
old woman having her ears drained.
The most wax I've ever seen. And maybe that is why I like videos like that. I'm like, oh, it reminds me of my grandma that I didn't really know.
Wow.
But yeah, she was close to 100 years old when she died. So
There's grandma's ears draining all that wax. It's fantastic. We didn't really know my dad's side of the family, and all of my grandmother's siblings died like when they were 50. So she was an outlier. So I didn't know any of my great-grandparents.
I was going to say, the closest I got was my grandmother was born in 1919. And I thought that, I was like, oh my God. I was like, women didn't have the right to vote when you were born. Like, that's the only thing, because I knew 1920.
You know what some people call that? The good old days.
Well, my grandmother was also African-American, so things weren't really, I don't think voting was really on her mind.
The deck was kind of stacked against her.
That's
I mean,
right.
actually, my grandmother was like a triple minority. She was a woman, she was black, and she was Native American. Like, she was part Native American, and I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back on old pictures of her, she really did look like probably more Native American than she did black.
Yeah. I can't wait to tell my mother that we are 0% Native American.
Because she's always been living that lie, right?
I don't even think it's living a lie. I don't know who
it
told
is.
who what, but that's what we were. I mean, listen, it's probably partly growing up in Illinois, too. I think everybody is told that they're part of Native American heritage. But, yeah, I don't know who told her, but she told us. Oh, yeah, we're part Native American. What kind? No, I don't know. Okay, well, guess what? We are 0%. But Willie Nelson will be 90 years old on April the 29th. And he and a whole lot of friends are going to have a big concert out there in Hollywood. It'll be very exciting.
You can't go within 4 miles of the concert without getting stoned.
You get a contact high. Park in your car.
I don't understand how people do that. I understand, like, there's certain concerts where you know there's going to be the pot smoking, but, like, you either have to get an Uber because a DD is not going to work because if they're there, they're going to get something.
Yeah.
I can't do concerts like that, man. There's people on acid, on shrooms. Pot is the least of your troubles.
Yeah, but the concerts like that, no one's bothering you. They're just having a good time.
They're
They're
having fun.
They're dancing and
I
stuff.
know, but I'm worried about like my safety because those people are also
drunk people are way more
Yes.
of a problem for your safety than people that are on shrooms or psychedelics.
I understand that, but those people have to leave as well. So I'm not necessarily worried about the people I came with because chances are I'm probably the DD. I'm worried about the people they came with because they're not as responsible as my group.
All these rappers get, well, a bad rap. All these rappers are already bitching and moaning about their concerts and all this trouble that's caused. I saw dudes get stabbed at Lynyrd Skynyrd. I never had a problem at a hip-hop show. It's always drunk dudes who can't handle their high. Everybody's saying, Alan, you forgot about Cheech and Chong. Celebrity potheads, Seth Rogen. Yeah, I guess I was thinking contemporary, like Cheech and Chong, yeah, but that's like when I was a kid. Like, they're not even, like, Cheech and Chong wouldn't even cross my mind now.
They're definitely up there. I would
Yeah.
rank them in the top 5, but I don't think they're overtaking Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg. Maybe in the 80s and 90s, yeah.
That's what I mean.
But,
Like, I know their whole bid back in the day.
if we're
was
talking
that.
about right now,
Yeah.
you're putting Cheech and Chong below those guys. Then maybe like the new era of that's like Seth Rogen and stuff like that. Those stoner movies they all made.
I was gonna say Pineapple Express. That was with what's his face?
James Franco and Seth Rogen.
Oh God, James Franco. Yeah, he's my John Mayer when it comes to
Well, you are not his type. You are not a 17-year-old college student.
allegedly. And there's
No,
17-year-old college
no, they
students.
pretty much, huh?
He said, he's like, oh yeah, I shouldn't have been doing that.
By the way, for all the people texting me that Poundcake should just bring a clean shirt, why would he sweat up a clean shirt after he works out?
What do you?
Well, they're like, if he doesn't want to drive home with a sweaty shirt, why doesn't he change his shirt? But then you're putting on a clean shirt over your sweaty body. Like, why do that?
I'm not showering there, and
Right.
I live like 10 minutes away. So, look at these people. You don't change, you don't take
They're
showers.
just trying to help. They're trying to help. I'm just saying I don't know if putting a clean shirt on a sweaty body is the way to do it. Maybe they were just trying to think about your comfort on the way home.
Just drive home without a shirt on. That's what you do.
Ew, that's even worse because then it's the sweat and stinky skin on the fibers.
But you put
directly
your
on the
seat
fiber.
all the way back so that your back's not touching it.
And by the way, homie, by the time summertime comes and you're in really good shape, people are going to have to tell you to put a shirt on. You're never going to want to have a shirt on. You want people to see your sweat now. You're telling me that you're not going to want them to see everything else?
But I don't know if I'm a showy guy.
Pardon me?
I don't know. I'm not that. I don't know if I'm that dude that just.
You've never been ripped.
That is correct.
Getting in great shape, you discover just how much of an exhibitionist you are.
You're just gonna see dong all over.
Well, I don't mean dong, but like shirtless. You know what I mean? Like if you've worked on the glamour muscles.
If you start having definition in your abs, you are going to want to show that off.
That is true,
every
'cause
day is going to be Top Gun beach volleyball
Yeah.
for you.
I was wearing those. Hell, I was wearing those crop tops when I wasn't skinny. So yeah, I probably will
crop
wear
tops and a little pooch hanging
Don't
out.
you remember when I sent you that picture at Pride in Columbus years ago?
Yeah.
And
One more reason Columbus stinks.
you guys were so nice to me. Thank you
Poundcake's
for not.
crop top.
Thank you for not demeaning me. Then you probably would have really hurt myself.
We don't like to hurt your self-esteem because
No.
of your appearance.
We try to build you up. We like to demean you because of your personality.
I don't know why.
Because of who you are, not what you are.
Because I knew I wasn't the skinniest, but I was skinnier than some of the people that were there. So I was like, you know what? I still have a leg up.
Even when you were at your fattest, you weren't like a big fatso.
Right.
You were just a little chubby.
Because my fat goes other places. My fat went to
Your
my
ankles.
face.
Oh.
No, not that. See, that's weird. That's why it's so odd. I'm oddly shaped. The fat did not go to my legs. It didn't go to my ass. I got fat distributed everywhere else. I got fat in my stomach. I got fat arms. And then I had boobs. And then I had a fat face.
He had
Boobs.
boobs.
But
Hey, look at those boobs.
my legs and my thighs didn't
Some
change.
boobs there.
So I didn't even get like a fat ass. I
Yeah,
was like,
you were carrying your weight like females normally do.
I had a fupa.
Yeah.
Fat upper personal area.
That's right. Alan, my husband's aunt swore that his family was Native American. They had a bunch of Native American decor in the house. They had a whole story about which relatives were Cherokee. Their ancestry found out that they were 0% Native American. We never told her before she died.
Aw.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. You don't on someone's deathbed. You don't want to go, hey, as it turns out,
Oh, I say hit me with
your
it.
entire
You lying bitch.
yeah, you. But like, she didn't know. She was, some people really, really.
Don't want to be white.
Well,
I just identified with it
'Cause-
for some reason because they thought it was part of their heritage.
right. Like some people really identify with their heritage. Like that's their whole personality.
This
Oh,
reminds
those are the worst.
Well, no, I mean it's.
No, I hate it.
It depends on who you are. It's like, it's a culinary thing and it's a social thing. And it's like, that's great. All the kids I grew up with are Irish or Italian. And it's like, boy, you meet an Italian kid. He couldn't wait to tell you that he was Italian.
This reminds me.
That's more what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about someone that's actually connected to it, but somebody that's like, they just, I just remember this one friend of mine would always be like, whenever he'd meet someone new, he'd somehow make it about being Italian, and he'd always talk about the sauces that they liked and,
The
and the
sauces.
meatballs, and like,
Yeah.
oh, these meatballs are good, but my grandma's are the best, and I'm like,
If you
they're
have to
not that
turn,
good.
if you have to turn every conversation into sauce, there's some other things I don't like anybody who makes their entire identity about one thing in general, whether it's ethnicity or what bands they like.
Yeah.
Some people, their whole
One-note
identity is
personalities
one
are-
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. You've missed a lot of other great stuff.
Did you guys ever watch the movie A Day Without a Mexican?
It doesn't sound familiar. No.
I had a Mexican.
Did they shoot that in Montpelier, Vermont?
I don't know. I don't know where it was filmed, but I had a friend growing up, and she was Mexican, and her grandmother spoke no English whatsoever, and we were over her house watching A Day Without a Mexican, and that movie is wild. All the Mexicans,
A mockumentary.
yeah,
Okay.
all the Mexicans around the world just started vanishing, and there was this one woman who, she was Mexican, or she thought she was Mexican, and they had her like up in the hospital bed and trying to like run experiments on her as to why she didn't disappear with all the other Mexicans. And then her family tells her like, so you're actually not Mexican, you're adopted. And she was like, what? But my
Movie's
heart.
20 years old.
She was like, but my heart is Mexican. And then after she says that, she just disappears out of the hospital bed.
He really enjoyed this movie.
Because it was ridiculous. Like,
so funny.
it was like the apocalypse. All the Mexicans are disappearing. And then this one lady.
With a pink fog surrounding California to prevent any communication with the
Let's-
outside world, is what it says.
There's a lot of people where that would not be the apocalypse.
But
but it's
to
also-
show how valuable Mexicans
That's
are.
right.
Yeah.
They're very clearly trying to do a satire on be careful what you wish for, because if you might get it, they talk about these are jobs that Americans don't do. A Day Without a Mexican. All right. There goes the neighborhood is what the poster says.
You have to watch it. You have to watch it.
Oh, well, it made $10 million.
Wow.
Yeah. They showed it in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. I've never heard of it. Not to be confused with the 1924 film, A City Without Jews. There are probably people who, if you have A Day Without Mexicans in your DVD collection, you probably have The City Without Jews in there as well. This is a movie your friend told you about, or you saw it?
No, we watched it over her house.
Wow.
Like, she was like my best friend growing up. Like, I had all types of friends, a biracial friend, Mexican friend, all what.
So you were young when you saw this.
Yeah, I'm talking maybe younger than like 13 or 14, something around there.
Well, it came out in 2004, so yeah.
Yeah, and so we're over her house, and she was like, "You want to watch A Day Without a Mexican?" And I was like, "Sure." What is that? And we watched it. That and Rebel Day. We used
And
to
what?
Rebel Day is like Degrassi, but the Mexican or Spanish version.
Oh, never heard of that.
Yeah, it's about a music group or a high school music group, and they're rebels, and they all dress in punk.
Oh, hence the Rebel Day part. I see.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Did they have a kid in a wheelchair like Drake?
No, but they did have like the rebellious girl that has the school uniform, but the tie is crooked. So she's like, I'm wearing my outfit, but not really, because screw your rules.
Right. The tie is crooked.
I mean,
We try to do that stuff in Catholic school too.
Fresh
we
Prince
try to.
did it best when he turned his jacket inside out.
Yeah.
Well, how would you rebel? What would you,
Well, we would get demerits, if you were doing stuff you weren't supposed to be
when
doing.
did you go to school? Demerits.
I went to Catholic school, yeah.
In the 1820s, demerits.
Yeah,
Demerits. That's what it was. You got points, and then if you had too many, you got detention.
Man, all they had to say is, we're calling your mom. I'm like, no, don't do that. Because either she going to whoop my ass when I get home, or she'll show up there in her moo-moo and curlers.
No,
and
this was
give me the
Catholic high
business.
school in the 80s. There was no calling the mom. It was, get in line. We're taking care of everything here. This is what your parents are paying us to do. You know, I grew up going, Catholic school, it's private school. So you're paying tuition. And so sometimes I have to remind myself of that because my son is the last person to go to Catholic school. My older daughter went to public high school. My little one goes to public elementary school.
Were they still giving him demerits?
I don't know about that. His was a real small school.
Did they put you in the stocks if you were real bad?
It was nothing like that. But I have to remind myself about
you don't dunce hat.
When it comes to public school, you don't get as much say, right? Catholic school, you're like, I'm paying for this and you do this and blah, blah, blah. I had forgotten my daughter's snow pants this morning when I took her to school. So I go back home, get the snow pants, because when it's snowing, they have recess or whatever, put snow pants on. Take them back to the school. School's already locked down. Like, they don't even let the parents in at this school.
That's good.
He's like, yeah, I forgot the snow pants. All right, come in and put them on the table. They have like a little lobby with a table.
Put them on the table, move to the left.
Yeah, I'm like, you got to put them right here. And the guy's like, it's some young kid at the desk. And I go, right here? I'm like, he goes, yeah, leave them right there. I go, how are they going to? So I take they got a table with like pens and name tags. So I put her name on the name tag and the name of the teacher. And then this other mom comes in and she's like, I don't know. She was doing the same thing. She forgot snow boots or something. I go, he said you just leave them on the table. She's like, okay. I go, all right. And hopefully he gets to the right spot. I don't know.
Like once a year.
I'm like, but back in the day, if that were to happen, your mom would walk it down to your classroom.
If your mom actually brought them, she'd be like, go outside and get pants. Your pants are going to be wet and you're going to be cold. That's what you get. Right. They never made us wear snow pants to school.
Right.
They never, if we did have, I would get muddy and dirty in recess all the time because we'd play football or just dodgeball or whatever, and they're just like, yeah, I guess you're muddy. That's all you could do.
Alan, I work at a small Catholic school and they still give demerits. All right, well, there you go.
Well, I'm trying to
listen.
make
It wouldn't be Catholic school if they weren't clinging to archaic rules from hundreds of years ago. So there you go. But that person's texting me from Michigan.
Someone said in the chat, Cody is barely black. He's basically Greek. I'm no percentage Greek.
It's just what a Greek person would say.
I'm not Greek.
Efaristo.
I'm Native American, black, Italian, and German. Ain't no Greek.
Yeah. I've got a break. I'll have Joe Bonamassa tickets for you. You like your blues and your rock mixed up together? You like a little peanut butter in your chocolate? Joe Bonamassa is coming to Playhouse Square in a couple of weeks. If you want to go see him, I'll get you a couple of tickets on the way back. If you want to text 35192 and another $1,000 on the way too, another keyword coming to go fund yourself on the way at 3:30.
This is the Alan Cox Show. Everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app.